Well, let's get started here. I'm going to hand it off to Fee. Really quick, though, ladies and gentlemen, I did write an article about the election in L.A. and what took place here. Remember, we like to talk about how important elections are, that if we don't have election integrity, we don't have anything. And more importantly, if we don't get the right elected officials, we can't, stop all these regime change wars, stop these sanctions, stop these awful foreign policy things. But fam, we did get somebody in office for us, didn't we? Or did we not? Our good friend AOC?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, she was supposed to be the one to go against the establishment and oppose it. And she's been not really doing that at all, actually. She's been delegating the caucus leadership, telling Nancy Pelosi that she's her mama bear. And that's just domestically, foreign policy-wise, she's been pretty bad. And then we have the national security issues. And the unfortunate part is that I expect it from the neoliberals. I expect the neoliberals to be terrible on security. They always promote censorship. But then we have the democratic socialist wing of the progressive part of the left in America, and AOC has kind of become an emblem of that. And recently I have seen her literally push for more censorship because it's Donald Trump. And just because it's Donald Trump, that means we just want to censor everybody, okay? And this Trump derangement syndrome is doesn't escape the socialist left. So let's just take a look at her at the original tweet, which is right up here. And the original tweet is Twitter, and they're talking about when it comes to conversations with government and state affiliated media accounts on Twitter, we're helping to make the experience more transparent. We'll now use 2 distinct profile labels for these type of accounts, as you can easily identify them and their tweets. So based on this, she went on and said, I appreciate that Twitter is a platform that's at least trying to stop disinformation, verifying news outlets, etc. Stopping misinformation isn't sitting around for years debating ideas. It's about testing tactics, trying ideas, and to find what's effective. So essentially, she is supporting what Twitter is saying. And she also went down and said, just as purveyors of misinformation are constantly testing new techniques, so should we in verifying info. Not everything we try is going to work. Is a ban on political ads the best route? Probably not, but at least there's a willingness to recognize how dangerous misinformation is and act. Okay, so once again, I just want to get you guys' take on this right away. She's using the classic, we need to protect people's information and take care of people in our country and our security. So we need to censor people. Well, the bullshit thing that happens when you censor people, AOC, people you just disagree with on the right, it literally comes back and haunts the left. It haunts people like us. It literally hurts people like us and you, Richard, who are targeted by YouTube and Google all the time for the things we continuously talk about. So if you're going to push censorship on the right, it's going to happen on the left or on everybody. And it's a slippery slope. Let's hear what you have to say. What do you think about this?
Well, I think the first thing to look at is the language, because if you look at these labels that Twitter are putting underneath, they say like Russia state affiliated media, right? Or China state affiliated media. Yet when you look at BBC or you look at CBC News or you look at any of the Western news outlets, not only is there nothing there, but they won't use the same kind of vocabulary. They won't say state-backed or state-affiliated or regime. Like that's only for global South countries, right? That's only for countries that are not allied to the United States, that are not pro-imperialist, right? They have state-controlled and regime-controlled media and institutions. So I think that's very, very important and very interesting, and tells you everything you need to know about their intentions and what they're trying to accomplish here. It's part of the conditioning, right? It's part of this drip propaganda every day that, in the global South, they have state-backed media. This is authoritarian. It's all propaganda. But in the West, we have free journalistic institutions. We have objective news. Yeah. When it's ironically the complete goddamn opposite. I mean, the CIA are practically bragging for decades about how they control the goddamn media all over the world, never mind inside the United States. And, the fact that she is on board with this tells you everything you need to know. I mean, I look at what she's writing here on Twitter. Dude, you take away the name, I don't know who that is. Could be George Bush. Could be Hillary. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, this is another pretext that is being used to crap all over journalists and journalistic press, freedoms and integrity. And because they don't want anybody challenging U.S. hegemony, they don't want anybody challenging U.S. imperialism. They can just use this as a kind of like to stamp people with, you see, they're backed by the Russians. And they tried to do this just recently with Rania Khaled, right? So she does a soapbox and in the Now, and they wrote underneath her page on Facebook that she's backed by the Russian state. You know, like you're seeing here, like some kind of Russia state affiliated media or something. Completely baseless, false accusation. I mean, completely just out of thin air, fabricated, 100%. Yeah. And so she's suing them for defamation because of that. And I think that's really important because it's going to benefit all of us as well. Right. You know, if God willing, the outcome is in her favor, because they can't get away with this. Just, you know, labeling journalists that they don't like because they challenge U.S. hegemony and U.S. imperialism as being Russian state backed. I mean, first of all, the xenophobia is unbelievable. As if like anyone allegedly nefarious is automatically Russian. Like the conditioning is crazy. But moreover, how they just use this as a stamp to discredit and delegitimize journalists and people who are not okay with this predatory foreign policy that the United States has been practicing for decades now. It's really disgusting. And you would think that somebody on the so-called left would protest against that. But she ain't on the left, man. Let's not kid ourselves here. She's a fucking crypto neoliberal.
Yeah, it's funny, too. I want to mention the fact that you talked about the intelligence community, the way they, you know, have their fingers in their Operation Mockingbird. But the left isn't even hiding it now. In fact, they're giving these people jobs. It's like, what do you think, James Clapper? Oh, you know, James Clapper, who just lied to Congress about the way the NSA was spying on us and stuff, and Snowden had to really reveal that. That's who they're putting on. You know, it's like they're propping up these people now, and these people
George
are
Bush,
the worst. But not even part of that, too. Part of the conditioning you're saying, too, as well, because we talk about the empire education. But to me, this is a sign, and I know later on in the show we're going to get to talk about Beirut and stuff like that, but there were so many signals and sign, something's going to happen here. Israel with the false flag on the border. Wait, they're talking to Hezbollah. Wait, something's going to happen. Same thing here right now. The tensions with China and Russia heating up, especially with China, and now they're stamping it. And the left are getting them early. AOC gets in. She's already an anti-imperialist. Excuse me, she's not even an anti-imperialist like we thought she is. She's an actual imperialism. Back in imperialism.
Yeah, 100%.
And standing behind this stuff, not to mention the civil liberties. I don't know if you know this, Dick, but I'm a civil liberties guy, okay? I believe protecting my civil liberties.
Yeah.
And this is just, once again, that slippery slope. Once you open up this can of shit worms, the government is not supposed to tell you what is a lie and what is not a lie. If somebody's not threatening somebody harmfully with death, then it's up to the public, the people, to decide. That's what our
it's
civil
not the government. It's the
about.
private companies, too, that are deciding. And these are giant corporations that get to decide.
Right.
They're far, far too big. And we shouldn't have them or the government be deciding. We should have people deciding. And once again, they always use national security or somebody's security to promote this sort of idea that we need Big Brother watching over us, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
Well, is that the question? I mean, right now there's always talks that the CIA kind of started at Facebook, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how deep?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, seriously, how deep? And you wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised. You tell me that. I think they got a hand in all the media.
Yeah.
They use the media as their number one tool right nowadays. So, I mean, I don't know what to think.
I mean, we know for a fact it's not up for debate that all of these American big tech companies have been complying, cooperating, colluding, no pun intended, with the U.S. intelligence community for years now. Yeah. For years, almost decades, right? Yeah. The revelations from Snowden, from Glenn Greenwald, prove this without a shadow of a doubt. It's undeniable. Yeah. And so there isn't a single one of them, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, that hasn't been working with them. So, I mean, whether willingly or unwillingly, they are one and the same. Yeah.
And the fact that they're pushing China is an enemy, meanwhile saying we can't have China with TikTok, get our information. But meanwhile,
this is a farce.
Facebook takes our information and gives it to Cambridge Analytica, say they got breached, but they gave out millions and millions of people's personal information, their footprint, what they like. Hey, I would rather have China have my information. Some dude in Beijing, what are they going to do? Oh, look at Pasta. He likes to sing and dance and make Italian food. He has my information. I'd rather let them have it than give it up to Microsoft. Jesus.
Yeah.
So I just want to touch on this real quick because a lot of people get a lot of criticism when we go after the favorite politicians of the left, like AOC. And when we go after her, it's not like we're going after her from the right. We're not saying, oh, hey, she's a bartender and she doesn't know what she's talking about. Those are the right-wing arguments that are very like degradable and awful, and we can all agree that they shouldn't be the arguments you use against a politician. When we're criticizing her because we're right here and she's like going towards neoliberalism and embracing it full-heartedly. And I see a lot of the backlash people get. You get it a lot because you're going after these American politicians. And one of the things she failed to do recently, we had a progressive win in Missouri. She unseated a 20-year incumbent, a dynasty of a politician, and she didn't get AOC's endorsement. AOC went out of her way to not endorse her. In fact, the majority of the squad didn't endorse the vast majority of the progressives. And so why. Exactly. And so then she went on Twitter and was like congratulating her. But what gives me hope is the fact that people are beginning to see it. If you go through the replies, you can see that a lot of people were like, you should have endorsed her, you should have endorsed her, you should have done this. So I think what we're doing, you guys, by keeping tabs on these politicians and holding them accountable is getting to at least some people on the very tiny little left that we have here, and even people that were fans of hers. I think that's actually it's happening. But I just wanted to show her tweet because she's an opportunist. I feel like, and just so you know, Richard, we used to really love her. Like, we used to like support her wholeheartedly. We were all excited that she was going to get into office. And recently, she, like we said, she's been really open about embracing the neoliberalism. She's retweeted people like Zerlina Maxwell, who is a horrible a neoliberal that goes on and talks shit about all progressives and talks shit about all the, you know, all the things we want, like Medicare for all and all these things. And she just won she got nominated for an Emmy. AOC did because the Emmys nominated a bunch of people. One of the things
like
that
the Obamas
she did,
too,
the Obamas, they nominated all these. If you go on the list to see what let's look at the Emmy nominees, because this is what I'm talking about. The Rachel Maddow Show, Real America with Jorge Ramos. I mean, just those two alone. This is, if you're getting pushed by the mainstream media, that's my thing. If you're getting pushed by these people, you are basically, I don't trust you. Like, why are people like these organizations that are heavily influenced by the CIA, heavily influenced by the military industrial complex? Jorge Ramos,
let me just say quickly, if you're doing your job correctly, you are going to be no friend of theirs.
Exactly. And if you're doing your job correctly, you're going to actually be smeared by them, which is what happens to the vast majority of journalists. So in America, I think, and you can comment on this, we have a problem where we love symbolism. Americans, they eat it up like it's the most delicious thing. Oh, wear this mask that says Medicare for all. Oh, wear this symbol, like wear a rainbow hat. And Democrats are better because there's a rainbow next to their name. That's American, like the symbolism, and that's hurt us so much because we embrace these symbolic gestures instead of actually getting things done and getting that policy.
Yeah, it's unreal. I remember that when she put on this mask that said Medicare for all. Like, who asked you for the mask? You were voted to pass legislation that says Medicare for all. Why don't you go and write that on a piece of paper and then get it passed in Congress, not make a mask? And then people are like, oh, but she didn't make that mask. She got it off of someone else. Motherfucker, I don't care where the mask come from, you idiot. I want people to have health care. Are you stupid or something?
Well, yeah,
like she got elected based off of certain policies. She promised to get these passed. Where are they? Can you name one?
No. And even the Twitch thing, right? Yeah. We can even go talk about the Twitch thing.
Oh,
it was very
symbolic. That fucking pisses me off. I can't see my family because the country is under sanctions. It's got the shit bombed out of it. Okay. I had to wake up every single day wondering if a mortar fell on one of my cousin's houses or something. And the only thing that she cares about is not lifting sanctions and removing American troops that are stealing oil from Syria. No. Her issue is, did these American troops that are occupying Syrian oil fields get recruited on Twitch? oh my God, I don't care where the fuck they were recruited. What are they doing there?
Yeah.
That's the problem. And she's focusing on paintings and busts and statues in the fucking Capitol. I don't care how pretty your workplace looks. Get your fucking soldiers out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but you can't have that. And if you say that, oh my God, the left is eating itself. Bitch, you ain't on the left. You're a fucking right winger. Like, it's unbelievable.
Well, she's definitely on the right side when it comes to foreign policy because she just sucks. And really, to tell you the truth, it was such a grandstanding bill. She's not talking about actually removing the actual gaming itself, where there's fucking white helmets inside the video game
really
itself.
You
know what I'm saying?
Literal
Like
propaganda.
Literal
propaganda.
Yeah, literally programming of the heads of our young minds. She wants the ads to be gone. It was such bullshit. It's not even attacking anybody. Meanwhile, you got somebody who's putting up amendments in the House saying, hey, we need to report on sanctions and stuff. Where's the squad? They're not jumping on that. Hey, you need to write a report while you're pulling out of the INF. These are Tulsi's amendments. Where's the squad on that? Where's the left on this? And
she's a right winger.
Oh, she's a right winger, right? Yeah. Please.
So, I mean,
and when she leaves, who do we have? Who in foreign policy knows what's going on? Only people on the right. Thomas Massie, Rand Paul. I mean, this is who we have to look to now? The freaking Republican Party for anti-imperialism?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And, once again, they've pulled another trick. This is the same trick that you saw in 2008. So, usually when people think of a U.S. politician, they think of an old white dude. Right. So what they did is they got rid of Bush and they brought you a really charismatic, amazing orator, got a great smile. His name is Barack Obama. But at the end of the day, his policies no different. And so they did this again now. They got you these really beautiful, intelligent, smart, young women of color to go run for office, making you think that they're going to give you progressive policies, but shit ain't changed. Right. And it's all a facade. It's all the packaging is different. But at the core inside, nothing is changing.
Yeah. And is the argument
case in point, we still under occupation. Case in point, you don't have Medicare for all.
That may be more dangerous. Tell me what you think. I think it's more dangerous in a way to send somebody a very beautiful package that they're not suspecting is going to have a terrible, terrible bomb inside of it.
Exactly.
Because it tricks you.
Yeah, because people are going to be more accepting of this incrementalist nonsense and gradualism, and they're going to be like, giving them the benefit of the doubt a million times over. No, you don't understand that these issues are very black and white. There's no time for incrementalism. There is no middle position. People need healthcare.
Yeah.
Okay. People need higher wages. It's not up for debate, and there's no time to wait around. People have been waiting 40 years for higher wages. Where they at?
We can't wait around. And another thing AOC's been doing, she's been working with Kamala, which is like the worst person to work with, but she has also been trying to break up Facebook with Elizabeth Warren. That's a good thing. We want to break up Facebook. We want to break up these big tech companies. The issue that she's actually doing instead of breaking up Facebook, though, she's once again using it to pivot to the whole, we have to make sure that we can check what these companies are putting. And so once again, the problem when you start putting checks on things, political ads and stuff, that can go to anybody. And so that is, again, a very dangerous thing she's turning around and doing.
Zuckerberg.
And she's working with Mark Zuckerberg. Exactly.
Yeah. I'll go to the mat and fight Warren over a plan to break up Facebook.
Which I think we need to break up big tech, but I think they're doing it in a way that's subservient to what more censorship rather than just breaking up big tech and not giving it to that.
Exactly. They'll paint it as something that is beneficial to you, but it's actually working against your interests, against the interests of the public. And so they don't actually have any real intention of breaking them up. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, since you brought her up herself, she received donations from Sheryl Sandberg, who's from the top brass over at Facebook. She also received donations from one of the co-founders of Facebook. I mean, why would they donate to someone who wants to break them up?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, are they that stupid?
It's a red herring. It really is. It's
a
distraction method. They know it's never going to happen, whatnot, It's like when a Democrat votes against something that they know is going to pass anyways, but they vote just to grandstand. Like we had a situation with Tony Cardenas over here getting foreign policy, like switching sides now out of the blue. Why? Because these bills are going to pass anyways. They know what they're doing. Yeah. It is pure propaganda now that's going on when it comes to the left. I mean, they are really hitting all types of disgusting heights right now. And the fact that
it's unbelievable.
The reason why we put AOC there, and I just want to get off that, was we put her there to do one thing: to rage against the establishment, to fight them, to rage against this machine, not go ahead and join them. So every single time we see what she's doing, what we see what the squad is doing, the mama bear just sucking on foreign policy, not really giving us any type of good legislation, it just makes me sad, because I remember the Freedom Caucus on the right, when they went in there, they made Boehner and the establishment Republicans cry. They threw Cantor out of office, and then they got Donald Trump in the White House. That's what the Tea Party movement did. We were supposed to have the same thing on the left. Here comes the progressives. We're going to get some bold progressive things. We're going to smash the Democratic Party. We're going to take over. We're going to kick some ass, and we're going to get some help for some young people out there. No.
Yeah.
And AOC has been there going along, propping up Mama Bear, voting for her, doing nothing.
She's too busy raging against the Republicans.
Exactly. Yeah. There was no hostile takeover.
Nope.
There was no hostile takeover. Nope. And I remember distinctly her saying in some coffee shop, I forget where this was, maybe that documentary on Netflix, but before she got elected, I remember her saying that she's ready to do whatever it takes to get these things done, even if it means being a one-term congresswoman.
Yeah, right.
Where is that? Where is it?
Where's that?
I don't see the same fire. I don't see the same kind of rhetoric or push. Nothing, man. Look, man, I'm not falling for these tricks. Okay, like I don't owe these politicians anything. I don't owe them any respect, any civility. I don't owe them shit. And so when I see them fooling around, and when I see them tricking and lying to people, and when I see them trying to push this incrementalist nonsense, I will not tolerate that. I don't owe you any fucking thing. Okay. Yeah. I do owe it, though, to speak for people in the Middle East, to speak for people in the global South who don't have the same platform that I've been blessed with, to point out, to show, to expose this incrementalist attitude, this laid back thing. Like, yeah, let's let the war crimes continue. Let the sanctions continue. I will point that out. You're not going to shut me up because you have some kind of fetish or you idolizing politicians. You're not supposed to idolize them.
Yeah.
They're not rock stars. They're public servants. Treat them as such.
Yeah, they're here to serve us, not the other way around.
Exactly.
The funny thing, too, is like when we started this channel and stuff like that, you say you're using your platform to get it out there. It's like, we're going to get out there and we're going to get a media for the grassroots. We're going to get progressives. We're going to promote them up. You know what I'm saying? She talked about it. We had a fundraiser we were a part of and stuff. So it's like for the AOCs and these new people that we thought would be coming into Congress and be on our side, we were going to be there to interview them because the mainstream media isn't. But instead, they've kind of morphed into the mainstream media. You got guys like Jamal Bauman now coming out who's praising Obama one day.
He's a funny one.
Bernie's ass saying they would have won if you didn't.
But then saying that Joe Biden and him are going to have the
they
same
align.
Yeah, alignment. It's like, oh, you really want to align yourself with Joe Biden? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, you're not even in office yet, and I'm already done with you. Like, what?
You haven't even beat the Republican yet.
Exactly. Exactly. And another thing AOC did, by the way, she was pushing the Green New Deal, which is, I think, the minimum thing she should have that we should be getting right now. Then she turned around and is doing a climate equity act with Kamala Harris. Anything attached to Kamala Harris, anything attached to the establishment is going to give you crap. It's going to be like by 2100 we're going to have carbon emissions reduced to like 30%. Meanwhile, everybody is dying everywhere else. Like this incrementalism.
Just like the Unity Task Force. Right? The Unity Task Force, she was part of the climate one. She sits down with John Kerry. First of all, what is John Kerry doing here? And then, you know what?
Beats me.
They come out with nothing. Look, man, it's very simple. This Unity Task Force should have taken 1 minute to do. You walk in the room, you say, you're going to give us 100% green energy by 2030, yes or no? Anything but a yes, you walk out the room.
Yeah.
That's it. You walk out the fucking room.
Yeah.
You don't placate to these people and bend over and give them everything and all of your support.
And then get nothing.
Especially with her influence and her reach.
Yeah.
And then come out with this half-assed, with this quarter-assed measure.
Nothing.
That means nothing, because no matter what Joe Biden says, regardless, this guy has been a friend and ally.
Right.
He has been an agent of big oil his entire career. Yep. Motherfucker invaded Iraq. I mean, that alone is an atrocity in of itself. And now guess who controls all of the Iraqi oil fields? U.S. companies. Yeah. But not to mention, inside the U.S., we know this guy serves the private sector. Who are you kidding here? You can't get no kind of deal from this dude or anyone on his camp. Ridiculous. What a farce.
Yeah.
If she had any backbone, she would have refused. She would have boycotted those task forces and actually stood for something.
Yeah, not just her, everybody else.
Everybody else. Of course, definitely.
Right?
All of them.
Because it's like, you're not going to push these politicians left. This is the idea that people think sometimes in the progressive side here. They're like, oh, we're going to push Biden left. We're going to be able to fight him better than we can fight Trump. Oh, you're going to be able to give him the millions of dollars he gets from the defense industry, from big oil. So that's how you're going to push him? Because that's the only way you're going to push Joe Biden anywhere.
Maybe they can, since Justice Democrats take super PAC money now. Who knows?
Well, you're going to be pushing him in a wheelchair soon because he's so, like, just out of it. Like, Joe, we're going to get you some milk and cookies. Listen, I'm going to say this right now. I'm not voting for Donald Trump, but I just hope that the Democrats and Joe Biden lose so big that it's just so devastating that even the people are like, what the hell are we doing here? Same thing with the Green Party. I hope Howie Hawkins, less than 1%. You know, enough of these movements on the left that are supposed to be, you know, anti-interventionists. Let's get these assholes out of here. And that's the shame about this whole thing, because AOC and this crowd were supposed to be part of that. And I do hate these task force. Like, you know, when Donald Trump got elected, I had a hope. I said, maybe he's not an interventionist. Maybe Bernie will go to him and get an infrastructure deal. But instead of doing that, you know, and actually going to the people and saying, hey, you're in charge. We know this. We want to get shit done. Let's work together. They just drew a line in the sand and said, he's evil, he's terrible, he's nothing, he's crap, he's boom, 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 boom. And that's their whole plan. We're still not going to give you anything that's just that guy's crap. And it hasn't stopped since 2016, since he took office. Instead of changing and actually giving the people something and blowing these fucking neocons out of the water, these assholes, you become an asshole neocon yourself in the Democratic Party. Pooh.
That's it. That's it, man. And actually, I recall when the debates were taking place in the Republican Party, Donald Trump was actually the furthest to the left on foreign policy, right? He actually was preaching anti-interventionism. And I recall him go on morning shows as well and saying, like, why is Barack Obama giving logistics to rebels in Syria? We don't know who these people are. Maybe they're terrorists. They have links to terrorist groups. I was like, damn, motherfucker knows what he's talking about. I'm shocked. And then he gets in office and no, it's the same bullshit. It's the same old war machine going again. But you would think that Democrats would oppose him on these things and call him out for lying about these things and try to come at him from the left. No. They want to go after fairy tales like Russiagate. They want to go after him about racism when they themselves are fucking racist and have done nothing for people of color and African Americans and people in the global South. These people are all playing on the same team and making a fool out of everybody. Yeah,
they can't self-incriminate. So, because if they go after Donald Trump for that, they have to go after themselves. And just to wrap this part up so we can get on to Beirut, Max Blumenthal pretty much called him out. When AOC did this, he basically pointed out what you said. No Western state media has been labeled by Twitter. Only outlets backed by the evil have. This isn't about fighting disinformation. It's about the U.S. national security state suppressing counter-hegemonic media. 100%.
Yeah, and you see this kind of vocabulary, this language, this conditioning being implemented all the time. I grew up seeing this and witnessing this. When they talk about foreign governments, which is all the more egregious because they'll talk to you about the Syrian government or the Venezuelan government as regimes. Yet when they talk about the U.S. government, oh, that's an administration. Oh, it's an administration, right? So you pay attention to the language. Like anyone we don't like, anyone the U.S. does not like, anyone who hasn't bent the knee to Uncle Sam is a regime. Yeah. Very authoritarian, right? It's this conditioning, this subconscious, trying to imply subconsciously that these governments are authoritarian by default, as if there are no surveillance states or police states in the West.
Yeah. And they always attack their elections.
The irony.
They always attack the elections. We need to bring these countries free and fair elections. Right. Well, you know what? I wrote a little article about how we don't have free and fair elections over here, and we witnessed it right away. And it is kind of ironic because you look at things like in Venezuela, the Jimmy Carter Institute saying, yo, these are one of the best elections in the world. Then what are some of the most fairest ones? We know the OAS was just putting up bullshit to get, to make everybody look the whole, like, Evo Morales was some evil person. That was the mindset. Let's make him look awful and stuff like that.
And then the New York Times come out with like, oh, oops, we crunched the numbers and turns out maybe it wasn't illegitimate. What do you mean you crunched the numbers 6 months late? Do your fucking jobs. You call yourselves the most prized journalistic establishment on the planet, then act like it.
They're doing
their
jobs.
Same thing with the Iraq War. They did the same thing with the Iraq War. They let Condoleezza Rice write op-eds about how we need to get rid of Saddam's WMDs. We got to go in there, and they beat the fucking war drums. And then they come out after Iraq has been invaded with like, oh, we weren't as vigilant as we should have been. People are dead. What the fuck are you talking about?
Gone.
I don't accept your apology. I reject it. Screw you.
Yeah.
This is unacceptable. Yeah. Either do your job and then publish the stuff that you found, or shut your goddamn mouth and stop getting people killed.
Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah. These people say that they're the counterweight and they're the fourth branch of a democracy. Hell no. They're working with the military-industrial complex. 100% complicit.
Yep. Yeah. They're doing their jobs very well criminals. For the military-industrial complex. They're doing that's their job now. The fourth estate is dead. It is not about it. We are the only ones left here. We are the only ones keeping anybody accountable. The independent media, because their jobs right now is to just be subservient to the state narrative and the propaganda and the empire education that we talk about. That's it. That's their job, and they're doing a wonderful job of it now. But that's why it's so important to support independent media and what we're talking about, because we get shut down all the time. I know you do. I know they shut you down. It happens. This is why. Yeah.
Jamal got shut down 2 weeks ago, just for talking about, foreign
imperialism,
policy.
Anything about imperialism.
It's disgusting what they do. And I just want to send some shout outs real quick for the super chat contribution from Jim Garrison. Thank you so much. We love our man, Jim Garrison. He was the first one to try somebody in the Kennedy case. Jack Kennedy, right? Remember? In Nolens. I also want to say thank you, super chat contribution from William Bustos. It is always appreciated on the couch. I've said it once and I'll say it a bunch of times. AOC is a traitor. By the way, I just got here responding to the headline. Thank you so much for the super chat contributions. Guys, anything to say before we get off AOC? Because, Obama, too, on this whole thing. Remember when Obama got into office, everybody's like, are you going to try Bush and Cheney for war crimes? And he was like, no, we just got to move on. It's like he was almost saying, no, because after my 8-year terms, people are going to want to try me, too, as well, for what I'm about to do. It's like...
Really? Yes, please. Bring it on.
Jesus. Wow. Hold my... Bush was a war crime. He just destroyed the Middle East. Obama, hold my beer. Terrible.
Oh,
for real. Can we go with this one right here?
No, you can just show the tweet, Johnny. I don't need to read it, but I basically was just reiterating what we said. And just the bottom line, a lot of the Democratic Socialist left has dismissed the civil liberties and imperialism, which we're going to talk about that in 1 second, but they're easily co-opted with the symbolism and with trying to work with the warmongering neoliberals, thinking that they can reform something, but they end up getting reform themselves. They end up falling right in line with the empire narrative. So
they're very smart marketing. They've worked this out that if they push candidates that are young women or they're people of color, then they're immune from criticism. And if you open your mouth about them, you're being misogynistic. Hey, I don't care that we bombed your country. You're a misogynist. Yeah, motherfuck you. Yeah. You better watch your mouth with me, boy. And then they want to come and tell me that I'm supposed to accept drone strikes, and I'm supposed to accept troops stealing my oil, and I'm supposed to accept this imperialism day in and day out. And if I open my mouth, I'm XYZ. I don't give a fuck. I don't owe US politicians a shit. I don't know UK politicians a shit. I don't know anyone a goddamn thing. They owe me. They owe you, the working class. Yeah. This is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. They want to play favorites with their war criminals. No. You can't say that healthcare is a human right, which it is, but then you don't give Palestinians their human rights and people in the global south their human rights. That makes you a fucking hypocrite. You don't care about human rights. You're just a neoliberal who wants healthcare. Yeah. You want to come and play this game with me? Yeah. It's unbelievable, man. They want you to be oppressed. They want you to live under military occupation and fear. And then if you open your mouth, we don't like your tone. Oh yeah. I don't like the words you used.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, Rich. Dr. Cornell West was on this show. He said he had a hard time when he was criticizing Obama and stuff like that he was getting yelled at. But let me tell you something. It took me a year before I could really come out and just openly criticize Obama, because being a white man, what are you doing? You're criticizing, you know what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of racist rhetoric from the Republicans. But I'm like, I'm a Democrat on the left over here at the time. I don't call myself a Democrat anymore. But, I'm on the left. I'm criticizing him about his imperialism and stuff. Oh, shut up, you racist son of a bitch. Just another white man criticizing Obama. It's like, here we go. They've actually weaponized it, so you cannot criticize about.
Exactly. Like for example, the latest video that I did about Jamal Bowman, about his policy on Palestine. Like, dude, no one even checks it. No one even bothers to look. No one even bothers to analyze and dissect what he said. The guy openly comes out and says, I oppose BDS.
Yeah.
What? So you support genocide? And everyone, no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. And you know, it's the same thing with all these other progressives or Justice Democrats. You know, they think that, oh, these are young people. They're millennials, and they talk a good talk, right? They talk the talk. They're very charismatic. And on top of it, they're from minorities, right? They're either Muslim maybe or women of color or whatever. And so like that automatically means that they have good policies. No, it doesn't. Man, you got to understand something. The religion, the race, the class of the oppressor does not matter. It's still oppression. And if you reject that, and if you turn a blind eye on purpose, and you try to silence people who call that out, that makes you complicit, man. Stop idolizing these people and trying to defend their bad behavior. It's not okay. Yeah, like people are fucking dying because of this stuff. That's not an overstatement. That's an understatement, man. They're going through even worse. People living in fear their entire lives, going through torture. Like this is really egregious, having to reiterate and explain this a million times over. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Bauman, too, the other day was like, I challenge people not to take PAC money. I challenge other candidates not to take PAC money. Don't do it. I'm like, you were just praising you got Obama's freaking endorsement the other day, and the guy took more Wall Street money than any president before him. And you're going to sit there, and listen, a lot of people will always criticize the fact that Donald Trump talks on a third grade level. Oh, Donald Trump is just getting the stupid people to vote for him, and that's it. And he's race baiting, and he's just talking on a small, lower grade level. I said, what the shit are the Democrats doing? They're doing the same thing. You know, they're being so hypocritical with every word they speak, just hoping that a lot of people won't recognize, or they're too consumed to do the work and find out what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because I do have to give it up for my people over here. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people across America that work their ass off. They're consumed because they got to work 2-3 jobs. It's just not being consumed by the Kardashians or other stupid stuff, or, you know, dumb shows that they watch and whatnot. It's a lot to do with the fact that they really economically stress people out over here, so they don't pay attention. Like, in other words, when you look at a lot of polls, only 14% of people really care about foreign policy. That's not good. That's not good at all, because the president's most power is in foreign policy. That's where they can make the biggest difference. That's where we spend all our money. And it is one of the most racist things we can do, going around bombing people in indigenous lands.
Thank you.
The most economically wasteful thing we can do. That's why we can't have nice things, Karen.
But America doesn't care because it's not right in front of your backyard. It's not right here.
You would think that progressives who care so much about getting health care and free college and all these nice things, which they do deserve, everybody deserves these things, but you would think that they would look to the place where you spend most of your money. 60% of the federal budget goes to the military. You would think that's the first fucking place they would look and dissect and try to understand what's going on, so that they can fix the situation and mitigate it and reallocate these resources. Nope.
Because of Russia.
Policy. No.
Russia.
And
China
they pretend,
can't do it.
Exactly. And you know, they act like they care about minorities. They act like they want to help out people that are being oppressed. They don't do nothing about the corrupt criminal justice system. They don't do anything about the prison industrial complex. They don't do anything to stop the wars. Man, war is fundamentally racist. I want people to get this through their heads. When you decide that you have the permission, you have given yourself the permission to go and kill people, that means you value their lives as being worth less. That is fundamentally fucking racist.
Yeah.
Even just to occupy them is fundamentally racist, because you think that they are subservient to you. No, we are not subservient. We are all fucking human beings. We're all equal. One is not superior to the other under any circumstances. I don't care what you call it, liberation or operation fucking whatever all these names they give, you know, Desert
freedom.
Storm,
always
or
freedom in it.
The most disgusting thing. It's always like the complete opposite of what they're doing. I don't care what they call it, man. It is racist. It's fundamentally racist that you give yourself the permission to go and occupy people's land and steal their resources and impose upon them your rule and think that you know better. Who said you know better? What? Because you're white? Because you're American? Because you're French? Because you're British? Who said you know better? Based on what?
Yeah.
You said that. You've given yourself this permission, but it's not true. It's not based in anything in reality, and it's fundamentally racist. And none of them do anything. Ilhan Omar AOC, the squad, Rokana's own wife has investments in 7 defense manufacturers and weapons manufacturers. Yep. What the fuck? Yeah. You don't think that's a conflict of interest? And then this guy pretends to be anti-war?
Yeah.
And he's wearing his co-chair. Right? Are you kidding me? These people, I don't care what their religion is or what their race is. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if they're going to push for imperialism, which is fundamentally racist, fundamentally cruel, it sets back countries decades and centuries, then I have no respect for them. And I don't owe them a goddamn thing. They owe me. They owe you. They owe the working class. They owe the people that they're bombing.
Yeah. But Rich, you know what they say?
Do that to them.
They say, well, we got to take care of the economic problem here first before we can stop doing that.
That is the economic problem.
I know. Yeah.